You've settled arguments with it your whole life. A coin flip, the purest, fairest form of randomness available. 50% heads, 50% tails, no bias, no trick. A team of researchers flipped coins 350,757 times to test that assumption. It didn't hold up. The idea that a coin flip might not be perfectly fair actually goes back to 2007, to a physics model built by Stanford mathematician Percy Diaconis and his colleagues. Diaconis, notably, was also a former professional magician, someone who understood firsthand how much subtle physical bias can hide inside something that looks completely random. His model made a specific, testable prediction. When a person flips an ordinary coin with their thumb, it tends to land on the same side it started on slightly more often than chance would allow. Diaconis estimated that bias at around 51%.
For over a decade, that prediction sat there, mathematically compelling but never tested at a scale large enough to be truly confident in. Then in 2023, researchers at the University of Amsterdam decided to settle it properly. 48 people flipped coins from 46 different currencies, specifically using their thumb and catching the coin in their hand, avoiding surfaces that might introduce bouncing or extra spin. After days of flipping, including one 12-hour marathon session, they'd recorded 350,757 individual flips. The result matched Diaconis' decades-old prediction almost exactly. Coins landed on the same side they started on 50.8% of the time. Not a massive difference from 50%, but with a sample size this large, statisticians could say with real confidence that this wasn't random noise. The bias is real. The physical reason comes down to what happens during the flip itself. A coin tossed by a human thumb doesn't spin cleanly around a perfect axis. It wobbles, tilting slightly off-center as it tumbles through the air. That off-axis wobble means the coin spends a fraction more of its airtime facing the direction it started in, which very slightly tips the odds toward landing that same way.
Here's a detail that makes the story more interesting. Not everyone showed the same bias. Some participants, dubbed by researchers as wobbly tossers, showed a same-side bias approaching 60%, a meaningfully larger effect than the average. Only a small handful of the 48 participants actually leaned in the opposite direction. And when researchers looked purely at heads versus tails, with the starting side randomized, that split remained genuinely even at 50%, exactly as expected. The bias only shows up in the relationship between the coin's starting position and its landing position, not in heads versus tails overall.
To be clear, this bias is far too small to matter for deciding who gets the last slice of pizza. A less than 1% edge isn't something you'll notice across a handful of flips. But it is large enough, researchers note, that someone flipping coins professionally over thousands of repeated bets could theoretically use it to their advantage, simply by glancing at the coin's starting position and calling that same side. So the next time you flip a coin to settle something, remember, it was never a perfectly blank slate of randomness. It's a small, wobbling physics experiment every single time, with real, measurable mechanics quietly nudging the outcome, just enough for 350,000 flips to notice what any single toss never could.